These lights really make my bald spot stand out, so remind me of that from time to time. I just turned 40 this year. Yeah, thank you. My presentation, I worked on it. Anybody here last year when Angel did his presentation? So the shots of Jim Beam are out front. My presentation is a testament to the power of PowerPoint. It's beautiful. It's not. It's absolutely not. It's actually a testament to long copy on PowerPoint, so don't be afraid to make fun of me later for it. I'm a little nervous, oddly. I think the mics are doing that for me. I see a lot of familiar faces. Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Let's just start there. I don't know. I imagine so. I think they're videotaping this and recording it for later distribution as well. So yeah. Sure. If you really want to download that presentation, you got too much time on your hands. So John asked me, I've known John for a bunch of years. He's a great guy. Thanks to John and Jamie for putting this on. It's always awesome to have like so many colleagues and other people in the room. All the years I've been coming to this, I've never walked away without learning something or meeting someone new or making an advantageous venture. I think Raging Bull I met, 4 or 5 years ago at John's conference. And they were small then. And I remember one of the first things, like, how do we get big? I was like, after about 8 Jamesons, I was like, send more mail. And they were like, send more mail. They went back and sent more mail and they were like, oh, that worked. It's like, yeah, you send more mail, you make more money. It's one of the things we're going to talk about and sort of double your money. It's not revolutionary to send more mail. However, I've worked with some of you, I've talked with many of you, and it's amazing to me the kind of dogma that you guys have in your business about sending more mail. You say dumb things like, the customer will never like that. Like, or we can't possibly send that much mail. Or why would I build an e-letter? So when it comes to doubling your money, balance and scale, yeah, I worked for Agora. But I was a part of a much larger team there. Don't think that you can do all this by yourself. Team is important. We have no intellectual property. There is no warehouse somewhere with a bunch of tires that you're going to sell. All we have are the people that we hire, train, and use. Every dollar that we make comes from your head. It's one of the great things that Agora teaches people is that you're an idea company at the end of the day. You have very little IP. Some people here might have a platform. Some people here might have what they think is some sort of trading strategy, but at the end of the day, the more people you hire that you can give away your toys to, the more valuable you're going to be. If there's one thing I've learned in scaling a business, you have to have talented people around you that you're willing to trust, train, and give all your stuff away to. If you don't have that, if you're an owner here, CEO, and you find yourself working 60 hours a week, you're probably not going to be able to scale your business. You have got to hire somebody and give them the responsibility of the things that you already do, even if they do it badly for a couple months. Again, if we screw up, you're not really wasting inventory. Sending an email doesn't really cost you anything. So, hire staff. Anyway, double your money, balance and scale your business to 9 figures. There aren't a lot of 9-figure businesses out there in the world. Anybody know how many there are? Anybody? Nope. I think there's about 5, and there's about 2 or 3 that are on the precipice of it. How many people are, just so I can get because I know we're in London and you get all walks of life. How many people here are financial publishers? Raise a hand. Okay. What else do you guys do? Anybody else do anything outside of financial publishing that I should know about? Media buying, selling? There you go. Good. Well, what else? Somebody just shout out something that I missed here.
TV network.
TV network, great. What else? Copywriter. Well, you're going to be busy. Don't everybody start moving towards the copywriter at once. Take your time, let them breathe. I'm going to make fun of you in a little bit, so just hang in there. All right, beautiful. E-letters, groundbreaking, I get it. I have notes, let me get those out. I also might go a little long. If you have to get up, I get it. Just don't let me see you do it. E-letters are something that only larger companies take seriously. Why? I don't know. It seems like a giant undertaking for people to send out e-letters. When we're talking about e-letter, what are we talking about? How many people here have signed up to over 20 or 30 e-letters? Good. How many people here like the content received from those e-letters? Much less hands. Good e-letters are not easy to develop. Smaller companies that are less than $25 million, I find when I talk to them, they don't actually develop an e-letter at all. It's shocking. And the ones that they do develop aren't necessarily e-letters. Most people send ads. That's what they think an e-letter is. It's a vessel for ads. They buy media, they bring in an email address, then they monetize it by sending ads. That is a bad business. That is weak, right? You're not going to make yourself 10, 15, $25 million by selling something online, bringing an email address, and then selling that list over and over again without fulfilling them with some level of editorial. Still nervous. Hold on. Get into a rhythm. So most people send ads, they buy media, and then they sell their inventory. And they try for 100% ROI in 30 days. Anybody think that's a good business? Does anybody run that kind of business? Yeah, okay, good. You're the one that I can help today. Most of you guys, this is what you do. You either don't sell your own product, you don't develop your own e-letters, and the e-letters that you develop can be, it's a myriad of things that you can actually start an e-letter on. Only the $100 million plus companies actually do them very well. It means they actually hire editors, they hire a production team, they hire writers, they focus on it. So how to start, right? So how many people here have like a one guru-centric kind of e-letter world? One person. Good. All right. A lot of you have more in the can than you think you do. How you start writing an e-letter is you sit down and you ask a very important question. Can you say something that nobody else can say? If the guy that's sitting across from you as your guru, whatever you want to call them, people call them editors, people call them gurus, what do you guys call them? Anything different?
Expert.
Yeah, fancy pants dude, whatever, expert. If your expert can't say anything unique, a USP is a unique selling proposition, and I don't want to hear, I'm the best trader in the world. Yeah, you and about 1,000 other dudes on YouTube are the best trader in the world. He's got to be able to tell you something unique. I know 17 people in the oil industry right now that can tell me, you know, what the value of crude is going to be in 3 months. They have to be able to drill down and sell something and tell you something unique. If you find that sometimes you have to extrapolate that out of people, and that's not an easy thing. A lot of people don't like to step outside of what they're comfortable with to be able to say, oh yeah, like I never realized that I'm like the best pre-market trader in the world. Sometimes you got to drill down, but it has to be unique. There is value in uniqueness. There is no value in saying I'm a really good trader. There's no value in your track record. Zero. If there was value in your track record, and I'm sorry for videotaping this, Gary Mizrahi would be the most valued commodity on the market. Dude's like 175 out of 175. But that took 5 years for him to do that. Nobody cares about your track record. Nobody cares what you've done in the past, how many gains you've had. That stuff's weak, right? People care about what you're going to talk about in the future. So when you sit down to decide about an e-letter, you should probably start thinking to yourself, how do I make 3 of them? Not just 1, but 3. And then start thinking to yourself, so the guys that write the e-letters are, and I hate to say this because it makes them even more egotistical than they already are essentially celebrities. How many people have ever been to a financial conference with one of the gurus as the lead speaker? How many times have you seen people line up for autographs for that guy? Yeah. That's the relationship that you have with people. They are celebrities at the end of the day. So you have to think about the world that we live in. John Carter's here, right? Every time John Carter eats breakfast, I want to know what he ate for breakfast. You know why? Because John Carter's a millionaire trader. Jason Bond, I want to know when Jason Bond gets up, how far he runs, how fast he runs. I know that that's small stuff, but Bill Bonner has not recommended a stock in 20 years, and he's one of the most beloved people that ever write an e-letter. The dude hasn't said anything more than, okay, the US economy sucks and you should buy gold. Have a nice day. But he's still one of the most well-read guys in the world because Bill, how many people here read Bill? How many people here know that Bill has a winery in Argentina and a church he's rebuilding in Ireland? You know all that stuff, right? And you like Bill. You say to yourself, I kind of dig Bill. So when you're writing an e-letter, there are all kinds of things you can extrapolate out to get to that sort of multiple sends per week, multiple kinds of e-letters per week. So aside from the personal stuff, everything that your guru, celebrity, whatever it is, expert does, the byproduct of that is usually wasted within your environment. So if you've sold 1,000 subscriptions and you're only talking to those 1,000 people about what happened that day, that's missed opportunity. Why not talk to the other 100,000 that you have on your list about the 1,000 that you're talking to? Just leave out the actual picks or do it posthumously. Do something to get them excited. Everything that you guys do within your environment needs to be broadcasted every single day. Imagine, what was that, EdTV? You guys remember Ed TV, the wonderful movie with Matthew McConaughey? So everything that your company produces should be able to be boiled down and sent out at some point. I know you don't think that that's possible, but, and I hate to draw a correlation here, how many e-letters do you think the people at Agora have? Who here is from Agora, by the way? Ew. Which one?
I was at South Bank Investment Research.
With my man Gabe. I've been to South Bank, been to the office, other side of the river. Cool. How many e-letters do you think they have? 5. They've got about 200. No, it's okay. And it's, you know what? That's why we're... Right. You should be getting a lot more, right? They have hundreds of them because every time they have a new idea around a new segment, around a new area, they're trying to launch a new e-letter to create a new relationship. If you boil it down at the end of the day, all they're trying to do is talk to you. They're just, that's what when I call them an e-letter, that's not really what you're supposed to call them. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Bill would smack me. It's a newsletter. It's a letter. At the end of the day, it's a relationship. Every time Bill writes a letter, he envisions himself writing it to his friend. He doesn't envision writing himself to an audience. He envisions writing it to his friend, somebody that he cares about. All right. How to start, how to scale. So, how to scale. How many people here have a good relationship with, I think we're going to get to that slide in a little bit, but I'll gloss over it at the end. Might as well just keep going. How many people have a good relationship with their ESP? How many people here know what an ESP is? Oh, good. Who here uses like Constant Contact or MailChimp or SendGrid, all those things? Good. So I saw a lot of hands on SendGrid, right? Who in your companies, and I know a lot of you guys are small, you may not have a tech team, but if you do have a tech team and they do not have a relationship with your ESP, that needs to be rectified immediately. You need to go out and see them. You need to explain to them what your business is. And if they don't understand your business and how much mail you want to send and where your names come from, you need to move on to the next one. Ask people in this audience who they use. Ask the kind of things that they work around. But a relationship with your ESP to be able to send more mail is vital. So how you scale that? So how many people here bring in one email address and put them on one list? No? Everybody puts them on 15 lists? Right. You should be looking, and I'm not, I can't get into specifics for you if you want to get to me later, but when you bring in an email address, you should have an auditorium. Imagine like a movie theater. I bring in one customer into the box office. I should be able to present them with about 10 or 11 different choices. Not just one, but a lot of them. Those are e-letters that their choices come into. Think about how you buy media right now. How many people here buy co-reg? Why not do internal co-reg? Why not start more e-letters and do internal co-reg so that people can opt into different things that you have to say, different verticals. So scaling, the quickest way to scale an e-letter is not to think about a one-to-one relationship. I bought an email address, I put it on one list. Think about buying an email address and putting them into an environment with 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 e-letters. And if you say to yourself, well, I only got one guy, he's not going to be able to create 8 e-letters. You can talk to me privately or afterwards. I'm telling you right now, I can show you ways to start having that conversation differently. Yeah?
Yeah, we've been trying to do that for 3 months. Can't find the software for it, so you can either tell me now or I'm going to hunt you down later.
The software for it?
Yeah, to do internal co-reg.
Yeah.
You sign guy up, go to a website page, and say, click.
Use, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Or you can just hire 2 developers from Mumbai and they'll figure it out for you. So, key metrics. When you first start, how many people here know what their response rates are? Good. Your response rate is your open rate divided by your click-through rate. If you have a list of 50,000 or less and you have less than a 4% response rate, you probably don't have a very good list right now. And that's probably because you don't fulfill them with anything more than advertising. And it's not a magic bullet. If you are already not doing an e-letter and you just one day turn the e-letter on, doesn't mean your audience is then going to come back. You have to do this for new audience that you're acquiring. If you have 100,000 people in your file right now and you get an 8% open and a 6% click-through rate, launching an e-letter is not going to be a solution for you. It's going to be, think of it like medicine. I can't bring back your amputated leg, but I can cure what's going forward, okay? Your response rate should go up if you have an e-letter that's fulfilled, that has a USP, that is exciting, that I'm going to get into what it should construct of in a second. But if you put your first 50,000 people on there, how many people have buyers as well as for their free e-letters? Who puts all their buyers on their free e-letters? Here's one thing I know for a fact. 5% of your people buy 95% of your shit. 95% of your people that are on that e-letter, fuck them, right? The people that buy are the people that you are wanting to talk to. It's a common mistake that a lot of people make. It's this idea that, I'll get to it in a little bit, but this idea that you understand your audience. You don't. How many people here actually buy financial newsletters on the regular? Yeah. Really? You buy like Agora newsletters like James Altucher, or you buy like Jason Bond, stuff like that? And you follow the trading advice? Anybody do that? Right. So you're not of the market, and you're trying to acquire a customer that is. And if you listen to the people that talk to you, for the most part, it's going to be negative feedback. And then you're going to create an environment that adheres to people that are giving you negative feedback. Anybody here have any idea of how many negative feedback people are actually really good buyers? Just in your heart? They're not. They're bad buyers. Yet you listen to them. You sit around and go, well, Mary says I shouldn't send so much mail, so everybody, we're going to stop sending mail because Mary over here keeps bitching. Tell Mary to fuck off. She doesn't buy anything anyway. You don't want my e-letter? Go away. You don't want my best ideas? Go away. Because you know who you're talking to? The people that don't write in. People that are sitting at home happy. Who here has thrown their own publishing event and met some of your customers? Yeah, pissed off people don't show up to that. They show up and go, I love everything you do. But you never hear from those people. All you hear from is Mary going, you know, if you could just stop selling me stuff and give me stuff, that would be really awesome. Next thing you know, you're sitting there going, you know what? I think we should give them stuff. No, don't give them stuff. Don't listen to Mary. Tell Mary to take a hike. As you add more people, you will see a degradation in response. If you get below 1% in response, you are likely running a bad e-letter, and you need to adjust. You need to drop some names. I mean, the numbers are pretty arbitrary. Like when I say 1%, like I know of e-letters out there that have 4 million people on it that get an 8% open and a 6% response. If you can send the mail, send the mail. If you find that you're in mail trouble, don't be afraid to trim the people that haven't opened in the last 90 days, last 180 days. There's all kinds of arbitrary things in there. There is no real rhyme or reason. And don't ask me about what time to send it or what day. None of that shit matters. If you have something interesting to say, it doesn't matter when you send it or on what day. Something interesting to say, somebody will read it and they will buy, okay? So don't fall into that weird trap of demographics, when to send it. Should I send it to people in California like at 9 a.m.? That's just a waste of time. You're literally in an apple orchard picking up blades of grass. Forget about that stuff. That's what bad marketers do. They focus on dumb stuff like that. I'd rather just launch another e-letter as opposed to waste my time in a severe segmentation. All right, moving on to my next cool slide. Why do them? So e-letters were a byproduct of a necessity. The necessity was, I have one e-letter, I send it 7 times a week, and I make X. Fuck. Out of happenstance, I've been in this business for 12 years, so I've seen sort of the evolution of this. Without going into specifics, there are companies out there that have one e-letter as their feeder, and then 12 other e-letters that benefit from that one feeder. Scale is what you want. Who here has a problem filling out their marketing budget? When I say marketing budget, it's like, okay, so I got one list and I've got 19 products. So you got one list, you got 19 products. So if you're only sending one email a week, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. Every e-letter that you create is another ratio to be able to highlight other products. And as a matter of fact, if you're looking for a rule of thumb, for every product you should have an e-letter. Start right there. Take your products and start saying, okay, I got a product on options, I got a product on stocks, I got a product on shorting, I got a product on this, I got a product on this. If there's not a subsequent e-letter for that product, you are doing yourself a disservice. Okay? The main reason that you do e-letters is for scale. You're looking for an insulary, I wish I had a whiteboard. I'm better with a whiteboard. But you're looking for an insulary environment. So I call it the Eye of Sauron. Did I put that up there? Not yet. Oh yeah, I did. Right. The Eye of Sauron, like take Stansberry's letter Daily Wealth from 8 years ago. They had one e-letter. It was the biggest in the world at the time. They made a $4 million buy on Yahoo, and they brought in 1 million names, and everybody sat around and went, holy shit, this thing's amazing. But they only had them on Daily Wealth, one e-letter. And then when Daily Wealth, I don't know if the end of America has come yet. I'm still waiting for it. Maybe end of America 2028 will be around soon. But once that e-letter makes a really bold prediction and sort of phases out, the concentration of effect of that e-letter dies. Meaning the Eye of Sauron, if I take it down the Eye of Sauron, all the armies around it will fall, right? Don't build just one giant e-letter. Build 15 e-letters. So that way if one falls, Let's say Porter Stansberry gets hit by a bus. Well, sweet. Now what kind of e-letter we got? Say one of your gurus leaves. Let's say, whatever. I mean, I've seen people make bad picks and kind of screw up their e-letter a little bit or not own up to it. I'll get to some of that in a second. Actually, I'll do it now. If you make a bad pick or your guy makes a bad pick, do not ignore it. Own it. Talk about it. How many people here are gamblers? Good. If you're not a gambler, that's the industry we're in. People that trade stocks are essentially gamblers at heart, right? If I'm a gambler and a guy tells me last night to take the Saints minus 6.5, which was the line, by the way, so you know what a degenerate I am, and I lose, and today he's nowhere. He doesn't give me a breakdown. He knows that I put $500 on the game and I lost. But imagine if he came out this morning and went, yeah, man, we had that game last night, and he broke it down for me, right? He said, imagine the offensive line, we know the guys are dinged up. He told me a story. And even though we lost together, the next day, if he comes back and says, I lost too, we lost together. How many people here trade real money? Or their guys trade real money? Good, that's an advantage. That's an advantage that you can use because your client, they put money in, you put money in, you both lose together. That is a softening of the effect. That is a relationship, right? You're going through it together. So if you make a bad pick, don't ignore it. Own it. Talk about it. Own it proudly. Go down in fucking flames. But do not ignore it. If you ignore it, people will hit you way more than the bad pick that you made. I guarantee you that. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but I've seen it. I've seen people be like, I can't talk about that. I really sucked at it. Like, talk about it, dude. Some of the best e-letters in the world, some of the best products in the world aren't the most successful. They're the best relationships. They're the fact that most people in our industry, if you talk to them, how many people have customer service staffs that they talk to or telesales staff they talk to? Most people do not call in or write in to tell you that they hate you, that they hate your picks. Some do, but ignore them. Most people they understand the risk that they're going through. They don't expect to make 1,000 times their money. They have viable expectations. They really do. And every time that you make a pick and you lose and you don't address it, that trust goes way down. They don't expect all the picks to work. Some people that are ridiculously dumb do. But most people, when they buy a service, just say, great, you told me you gave me a trade on Monday. That's awesome, you did. And you told me that 80% of the time it would work. Awesome, it didn't. But I got the trade on Monday and you told me exactly what I was getting into. You gave me a position, you talked about it. If you do that, you're gonna win, okay? Most people in this industry are not looking for the silver bullet that you're asking, that you think you have to give them. Most people just want the relationship. Think about the celebrity. They just want to know you. They just want to be near a millionaire trader or successful trader or somebody that knows something that they don't. All right. Why do them? Again, bandwidth. It's an annuity for life. Once you build an e-letter with 100,000 people on it, you can do with it what you wish for the rest of your life. If you choose to sell it, great. If you choose to sell your own stuff, great. But every time you build one, you're basically just pulling the lever to make cash over and over again. And if you think about the costs involved of it, if you say to yourself, man, I can't afford to launch another e-letter, you're in the wrong business. Editor costs X, e-letter yields Y, do some basic math. If you can't make more than $100,000 on an e-letter in a year, you probably shouldn't be launching e-letters anyway. It's cheap, chess pieces, right? So how many people here want to do business with other people here? Right? So how many people here have one list? Okay, 2 lists. Point is, the more e-letters you have, the more chess pieces you have to move around the board. Let's say I want to do business with you and I say, hey man, I got a great product. You want to run it to your list? I only have 1 or 2 e-letters. I don't really have a lot of bandwidth. Like if you have 15 e-letters, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can make deals with people all day long. You make deals with Rob. Hey man, Wealth 365 is about to do this awesome thing. Do you have any bandwidth to be able to print some people in here? I make you some money, we can make a relationship, you get some exposure, I get some exposure. Everybody when they come to these things is looking for that sort of relationship. They're looking to do deals with other people. So it gives you more chess pieces. I'm getting cotton mouth. Last one, so let me get a drink before I start yelling. Don't sell. How many people here sell their e-letters? And this is going to piss some of my friends off in here, I imagine. How many people here sell their e-letters on the open market for CPM or CPA or CPO? Okay, nobody? I find that really fucking hard to believe. If you do that, you are likely running a weak business. So here's why I know that. If you have a website that does 1 million in traffic, your RPM, everybody know what RPM stands for? It's revenue per 1,000 viewers. It's how CPM, RPM, they're interchangeable essentially. If you get 1,000 visits to your website, it should be worth $1,000 to you. That's $1,000 RPM. That's about what the metric works out to. Anybody that's worked with me in the past and worked on my reporting, you'll see that that's about what it works out to. Now, getting the 1,000 visitors, that's the hard part. But for every 1,000 visitors, you should be able to sell $1,000 worth of product. How much money do you think you get on the open market from DoubleClick or Google AdSense or whatever for that same sort of inventory? How much? About $5. If you can't beat $5, you're in the wrong business, right? You should be selling your own products to your own people. Even if you're putting them on other e-letters with that inventory, you should be doing it. But selling your stuff in order to make your ends meet is short-sighted. That money is usually either going like in a monthly budget that evaporates, but you are definitely not putting that back into the business. Selling your shit is like, I used to always tell everybody that I work with, the day you start selling your list is the day we stop working together. Like if you can't figure out how to sell your own stuff as opposed to somebody else's stuff, then we got a problem. Now, imagine you add some more chess pieces there. Doing joint ventures with somebody, doing partnerships, being able to run Banyan Hills stuff or being able to run Raging Bull stuff, that's a joint venture. That's not the same as selling. Usually you're looking for a relationship there, okay? But if you just sell your stuff straight open, I think you're in a bad spot. And if you are doing that, you should probably think about what kind of business you're in, because usually that is a bad publisher-run business. Like if I walk into your business and you say, so yeah, man, we make like 80 grand a month selling my e-letter, I'd be like, stop doing that immediately. But that's how we make money. Stop doing that immediately. Like if you need 80 grand that bad because you're selling your e-letter, you're in a tough spot, okay? Don't sell. Everybody understand what I mean by when I say don't sell? Sell your own stuff, not somebody else's. Sell your own stuff first. All right. I'm not getting any laughs. I gotta tell a joke. I promised myself I would get in shape for this. I did not. I was like, you know what? Summer's coming. John asked me to speak at the conference. I'm going to drop 30 pounds. I'm going to look absolutely diesel. Nope. Just squeeze myself like mashed potatoes into a skin carcass. All right. See, there you go. Got some laughs. Self-deprecation always works. Ways to do them. This is my way. If you read Brian Bouchard or you read Russell Brunson or you read Dean Graziosi, first off, I feel sorry for you. Second off, they will tell you how to do content. My way is very simple. You ask yourself one simple question. Why now, and why me? Everything that you put out, if you cannot answer those three questions and everything you're talking about, you are sending out a weak e-letter. It is weak. Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about Bitcoin? Here's why. Why am I talking about it now is the part that everybody misses, right? You're in an industry of expediency. You're in an industry of now. Nobody wakes, to quote Bill Bonner, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, man, I'm all out of fucking e-letters. I'm gonna go down to the e-letter store and pick myself up some e-letters. You are fighting for the hearts and minds and eyeballs of the people that read your stuff. So if you think that doing a recap of the market yesterday and how much the Dow moved or Microsoft's looking pretty good now, like that's bullshit. Why now? And most importantly for the relationship, why me, right? So why am I talking about it? More importantly, why am I talking about it today, right now? Why do you need to pay attention to me right now? And then why am I the only one that's going to tell you this? What qualifies me to be able to tell you this? If you can do those three things, you have a powerful e-letter. Not everybody does them all the time, but I guarantee you all those hands I saw earlier for people that sign up for e-letters, start reading them. And start reading them and saying, man, is he actually doing that? Oh shit, look, there's the why. There's the why me. Nate's falling asleep. There's the why now. I get it. It's hot in here. I'll take my shirt off if it like everybody wakes up. You guys want to do the hokey pokey? So why now, why me? That's important. If you're doing your e-letter, every time your editor or yourself or whoever puts it out, if you can't answer those three questions, go back and redo it. People that I've worked with in the past, I've worked with really great editorial directors. They will literally print out every e-letter and be like, I got the why, no why now, no why me. I got the why now, but I got no why me. All those three, and then subsequently we will show how much money those e-letters made. There is a direct correlation. When you hit all three of these notes, you will make more money, 100%. And remember, only 1% of your people read your shit. That's who you're talking to, 1%. You're not trying to reach 99% of people. If you are, you're in the wrong biz. 1% of people read our stuff, talk to them, and imagine you're talking to them. Pillars. So pillars are a little tougher. I didn't really go into just Pillars, yay, pillars. Pillars are kind of what you stand for. They're your guardrails. Like if you're an options trader and you believe in volatility, weekly options, and you don't believe in, you have to make some stances. You have to make some proclamations. And don't be afraid to do it. I take a horse racing analogy here for you. So there are some people that just say, I only bet horses to win, right? That's what he does, right? I don't bet exactas. Don't come to me for triples. I'm not going to play the daily double, no triple part wheels, none of that shit. I'm not going to do it. Your pillars are what you stand for. They're your economic view, whether it be macro or micro. Even if you say, I don't give a shit about the macro view, that's still a view. If you're a trader and you say, I don't give a shit what the Dow does, I don't care what the Fed does, I could care less about any of that stuff, that's a pillar. Talk about that. Talk about your trading within that environment. That is a pillar, right? A pillar are your guardrails so you don't go off the reservation. Going off the reservation, by the way, is there are some things we don't talk about. We don't talk about the president. I know we're in London and all. We don't talk politics unless you really believe in what it is that you're talking about. Don't try to go to the right if you ain't on the right. I promise you, you're going to get burned there, right? There are some people that are righties, like Jim Rickers is a righty. That's a natural righty. He can write about it all day long. If you are a centrist or in the middle and you try to appeal, because you know your audiences are conservative. You know they're white males. You know they're over 55 for the most part. Nate's going to want them to skew lower. A lot of people here are going to want them to skew different, right? But for the most part, you know who you're talking to. 80% of your people are conservative white males. That's a fact check. If you try to play in that game without being a conservative white male yourself, they will eat you alive. So take that into account. You don't talk about the president. You don't talk about guns. You don't talk about abortion. But you can talk about common enemies. Who are the common enemies that you can talk about in your e-letter if you want to bring in macroeconomic views? What polls well that everybody hates? Yeah, Congress. Taxes, good. Big banks and Wall Street. Not Wall Street, big banks. Big difference. What else? China. Everybody hates China. Everybody hates the Middle East. You can talk about those things. Don't go political. I'm serious, you can. But you can't talk about like gun control, or don't talk about the president and his policies. Don't do that. You're going to get burned, no matter who the president is, right? Tangential topic there. Who knows what a fear package is? Good. Has anybody seen any recently? They don't exist, do they? Why? Because they were shitloads everywhere when President Obama was in office. There was end of America, we're all gonna die, get your pitchforks, load up on gasoline. One of the most successful promos in the world was the guys who ran food buckets out of Nashville. You know, the FEMA camps are coming. You don't see that stuff anymore because our demographic has gotten their answer. So there aren't any fear packages about how it's all gonna fall apart. Just let that be a lesson to you. Nobody can get them to work right now. Golf clubs. So you're probably wondering yourself, shit, how do I put on an e-letter every day? Use your golf clubs. I call them golf clubs. They're pretty simple. Like, do a guru review on a USP. So a guru review is, something happens in the market. Market dips by 900 points. If you are absent that next day to not talk about the market dropping 900 points, even if you are a micro trader, you're an asshole. You need to talk to your people. Realize that nobody is trading their entire account with you. Nobody is in there. You do not own 100% of most people's money. That doesn't happen. You own about 10%. The other 90% is in there struggling with the market taking a 3% dip in one day. And if you don't talk about it, even if your view is, I ain't gonna talk about it because I told you I don't care about it, you still have to address the elephant in the room, okay? You have to address quantitative easing, tariffs. Probably not, tariffs are tough because that's about the president usually, but you have to, so if you're looking for a guru view, think about, so how do you know it's a macroeconomic trend? How many primetime television shows are there about money? Anybody? Fucking zero. You know why? Because nobody cares about it. Like Fox Business News, you can rent that whole television station for about $100,000 a day. Just because we watch it and leave it on in the office doesn't mean that anybody else watches it. Think about your 7 o'clock nightly news, it used to be Dan Rather, whoever the hell it is now. If that leads off with a financial story, that is a macroeconomic event worth talking about the next day. If 60 Minutes does a macroeconomic story, that is worth talking about the next day. Follow the news. Follow major news events if you really want to wonder whether or not you should address the issue. The TV will usually tell you, or CNN will usually, Fox Business News, Fox, whatever. If there's an economic story on the cover of any of those things and you're not addressing it, your audience is probably sitting there going, when's he gonna talk about the fact that GE just filed for bankruptcy? If you ignore that story, and knowing that most people have GE in their portfolio, you are not doing your people a service. Even if your point of view is, I don't give a shit, you still gotta do that point of view, okay? Case studies, you can break down old trades, AMAs, you can do an Ask Me Anything. All these things alleviate the pressure on the editor and the guru to have to churn out an issue every day. When you first get started with an e-letter, everybody comes out of the gate like, I got so much shit to talk about. A year later, they're like, I got nothing to talk about. That's why you have to be able to put these things, you can interview people, do an interview from, imagine you're a reader, you're interviewing. Personal stories, people love to hear about yachts, they like to hear about wineries, they like to hear about your vacation, all that shit plays. Again, think back to Bill. When people meet Bill at conferences or when he used to do conferences, they don't walk up and say, so what stocks you're holding? They ask him about his winery. They ask him about the church that he rebuilt in Ireland. They ask him about all the chateau in France. That's what they want to know about. And you'd be surprised, those relationships mean they're going to be with you forever. Nobody throws away that relationship once they buy into who your guru is and they like them. Aspirational, talk about your hero journey. Review something paid. That's a pretty easy one to do. Yesterday, to my paid subscribers, I did this, this, and this, and you didn't get it because you're an asshole. I suggest you buy it. You can review all your paid stuff. That's an opportunity, that's an aspect where you say, okay, I'm making all this stuff over here, but my people over here don't actually know what I'm doing. Bring it over. I mean, nobody's gonna be able to execute the trade, or you can leave the trade out or be vague and benign about it, but talk about what you're doing in the paid section. Review a partner, good chance for a joint venture. Easiest way to do a joint venture is to do an interview with somebody else that you like in the industry. Like Rob and John. There's nothing for them to be like, hey, I know Rob, he's over at WealthPress 365. You know what, I thought I'd take a second, because he does things differently than I do, but he's still really great at what he does. I want to get an interview with him. It's an easy way to do editorial to introduce other people. Ultra specific. Being ultra specific is an educational piece, essentially, right? You're breaking down some sort of strategy. You're gonna think it's boring. Most people in this room or most people that you talk to be like, I don't give a shit about the Arun, but the 1% of people that really do are really gonna fucking care about it. So talk about something ultra specific, and don't be afraid to drill down to like literally what kind of keyboard you use in order to day trade. People love that shit. Don't be afraid to talk about something ultra specific. I would rather you talk about which keyboard that you use than say, here's a market cap from yesterday. The Dow had a really bad day. The S&P was down. I already know all that shit. I can get that shit from the ticker on the top of NASDAQ. I don't need you for that. What I need to know is what you're about. I need that relationship. Big free giveaway. Again, you can do an open room, ebooks, all that stuff you're normally used to. So how many people have ebooks or whatever to give away for free? How many times do you rebroadcast that ebook to your list? 0. Do it all the time. Because you know what? When you gave it to them the first time, anybody know what your open rates and click-through rates were on that first email that you sent somebody for the ebook? Yeah, it was probably 30% and 30%. That's 9% of people actually read it the first time. Don't be afraid to send the same things over and over again, especially when you can point to a specific point and be like, hey, on page 13 of the ebook that I sent you, this is the one thing I want to talk about today. They will delve back into it. And evergreen stuff, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but you're talking about some of your pillars, where you stand, can be ebooks. All right. Russell Brunson way, I'm going to skip over this because I'm probably running pretty long. Russell Brunson way is like different than why me, why now. So there are multiple ways to write e-letters. He likes personal stories, backstories, controversy. For all intents and purposes, everybody's going to want to write an e-letter differently. I like my way. If you want to read from somebody else, go ahead and read their book. There are multiple ways to make relationships with people. So I'll skip through that. There's a lot of, you guys need to stand up. I know it's hot in here, and I know I'm pretty, but I feel bad for you. Some of you guys are really fighting through the eye, like, All right. How many people here run quality reporting? Yeah? All right. Well, you're a media TV buyer. So what does reporting actually do for us? It boils down the argument so that people stop puffing their chests out. Usually we work, I forget what it's called, there's an acronym for it. We work in an industry where whoever the boss is who the fuck people follow. I hate that. I hate the fact that if I go to work and the guy in charge be like, you know, I don't like that e-letter yesterday, it was pretty stupid. Well, thanks for the feedback, man. I really appreciate that. That really gives me a lot of direction on where to go. By the way, the open rate was this, the click-through rate was this, and the amount of money made was this, which is more than the last time you told me to write the e-letter, than that one made. The point of reporting is it controls the conversation. It takes out all the subjective sniping and stuff that goes on in a normal office. Remember, at the end of the day, everybody you hire and everybody that works for you is a marketer, which means they all kind of have opinions. People have opinions about sex, poker, and then internet marketing. Everybody thinks they're an expert in all three of those things. I'm awesome at internet marketing. No, you're not. You know who's awesome at internet marketing? The guy who controls the data. That guy's awesome. If you want to know my path to success when I first started, that was my path. I was an engineer for Raytheon, working on doing cold fusion programming and C# programming. When I got to Agora, I was an e-com associate. But what I did first was, so we keep having all these conversations about what's good and what's bad, yet nobody brings any numbers to the table. Everybody talks in relative terms. Fuck relative terms. Don't come to me with, oh, it did really well. Oh, it did awesome. Did great. That doesn't mean shit to me. Talk to me about what it actually did. Give me my open rate, give me my click-through rate, give me how much money it made, and compare that to what it's done in the past and tell me what was different about it. You start doing that, you start seeing patterns. You start seeing patterns, you'll get rid of all the nonsense and focus on the core. Everybody knows split testing. Everybody knows, you're supposed to be able to pick the winner. In the e-letter world, this is how you pick the winner. These are your KPIs. How much volume you send. So that's number of mails in a week, and the size of the list that it goes to, and the volume for it. Deliverability. I guarantee you not many of you know what your deliverability is at all. Find it. Talk to your ESP. Deliverability is not inbox percentage. Deliverability is literally, who here uses return path or anything serious like that? That's good. Return path should be able to tell you, but it's only 30 seeded names. So that's a little arbitrary, but you got to boil down to what your inbox rate is. And so your deliverability and inbox percentage. Open rate, click-through rate, pretty standard. Response rate, this is a byproduct of those two numbers. RPM is how much money it made. EPC is how much money it made. Those two numbers are not, I don't know. What would you say? They're mutually exclusive. People think that EPC is earnings per click. RPM is revenue per 1,000 people. If I have a big list of 6 million people and I make $10,000, my RPM is going to look like shit. But my response rate could be 0.5%, and so my EPC looks pretty good. Point is that the reason I want both of those numbers if you guys do reporting is because sometimes you'll go to a small list with a few clicks and the EPC will look great, but the revenue looks like shit. So what it does is it points out that, yeah, my click-through rate might have been wrong. This list might have just responded different. Just pull both those numbers because they won't always read the same. Sometimes you have a $50 RPM and a $1 EPC. That should tell you that you probably wrote a lift letter that got a shitload of clicks, but didn't do many sales, right? So, all right. Own the reporting. And if you own the company, that's great. Make sure the guy or the people that work for you, also let everybody run reporting. One of the keys to Agora's success, I firmly believe, is their ability to have open reporting. Everybody can see information about everybody else all the time. Having open reporting and empowering your people to be able to run their own reports and come to you and be like, I don't care if it's customer service. I love customer service reporting and telesales reporting. I think it's extremely powerful. But if every department that works for you, and I know some of you guys don't have departments yet, but if you're going to get there, every department needs to have, I hate to say the word KPI, but they need a top sheet with what their metrics are supposed to be. For e-letters, this is it. And everybody should understand it. Everybody in the room, everybody at the business should understand what these metrics are. If you walk into your office and you say, like Steve, how many people are on list X? And he doesn't know, that's a problem. He needs to know. Everybody at the business needs to know exactly how many people are on your list, how many times the mail goes out, what the response rates are. If you do that, you will create a galvanized effort of people that are always thinking about the business. Else, they're probably thinking about how to make their boss happy, which sucks. Most successful people in this business are the ones that actually run the reporting, they care, and they're trying to change things not subjectively. Let's talk tech. Know your ESP, know your CRM, move names around. So if you're looking to build e-letters, you got to move some names around. There are a lot of methodologies to do that. Some of them aren't very easy. So know your ESP, know your email service provider. Become an expert at it. If you have not hired a person that understands Infusionsoft or whatever it is you're using, you got to hire that person. You cannot move names around and build lists without a very successful person that can run your CRM and your ESP. Those two things go hand in hand. Usually it's the same person. And I know you're like, well, where the fuck do I find that person? I don't know. Put some ads out. Give a lot of people a try. But that person, if they're running that, also needs to be responsible for the reporting. Those things go hand in hand. Don't let tech people, don't let the tail wag the dog. Hiring a very valuable, successful tech person can sometimes be detrimental because they'll say the word can't. We can't do that. We put a man on the fucking moon. I guarantee you we can send more mail. Okay, you can figure it out, right? And we did that with like the power of a calculator. So when your developers start saying the word can't, oh, we can't do that, that person needs to go. Sorry, we'll probably have to edit that out. But the word can't, and in this business, when it comes to, oh, we can't make a template for that email. No, I can, you can't, bye. Okay? I see it, you look at me, but I see it all the time where tech people are like, I can't do that. You can't do that. I bet someone can do that. Always use the analogy, we put a man on the moon, I'm pretty sure we can send more mail. It's not that hard. Sweeps are selecting a large group of people that are engaged and putting them on your file. SEO or single click opt-ins. So if you subscribe to these e-letters, you'll notice that if you click on a link, sometimes you are then sent what is called a triggered email pretty quick. Like saying, oh, thanks for clicking on that link. As part of your subscription, we have now offered you this e-letter. If you don't wish to receive it, please click here and you won't get it. All these little techniques help build e-letters up. You have to use them. If you're going to do with the traditional model of, I run a pop-up on my site and like 8 people a day sign up, yeah, you're going to lose, right? I would go into specifics there, but I can tell you big major players in the industry move names around. Take big blocks of names, you move them, and you put them on multiple lists. If you're afraid to do that or you don't know how, basically you're sending them, if you're looking for the positioning there, you're saying, hey, as part of your subscription to company XYZ, we have just launched something new and we think it's really valuable for it. And we're gonna give you a free gift. And if you don't want to receive it, feel free to click here. That will probably get you around most can spam laws. Edit that out. Most can spam laws, that'll get you around. I don't know about the UK. You guys are goofy. Apparently every time I go to a website here, it asks if I want to do cookies. So I don't know what that does for response, but that seems pretty shitty. You can also set up gauntlets, right? Gauntlet is essentially, listen, I hate funnels. If I hate them, I can't stand them, they work. I'm just a dick. I just don't like funnels. So gauntlets are essentially, if you have another e-letter and you want to opt somebody in, make sure that they're getting it and you can set it and forget it a little bit. You'll probably get about 1% to 2% of people that way, but it's still valuable in doing it. Clickers, anybody that clicks is somebody that raised their hand. Every click is a vote. Every click is an opportunity to sell someone. You guys ever watch Glenn Ross? Guy don't walk on the lot unless he wants to buy, okay? If you are not doing your clients the enough service to be able to have them click on an e-letter and then subsequently sell them something, you are in the wrong business, 100%. Can you imagine reading when's the last time you guys sat down and read a 1,500 word article about the wonders of trading? Yeah, when's the last time you did that? Anybody? Today? Yesterday? Yeah. The people that do it, guess what they want to do at the end of that article? They likely want to buy something. And you have to at least assume they want to buy something. If I was like, holy shit, John Carter's going to tell me about the Arun. Oh man, I'm pumped. That guy reading that, if you don't take the next step with him and be like, I'm glad you enjoyed this article, just something basic, just a soft sell. Glad you enjoyed this article. I don't know if you know this or not, but I have a class, I have a product, I have a system that delves into this exact same thing. And for today only, or for the next 48 hours, I'm going to offer you a very special pricing deal because I want to get you in because it's important. If you're not doing that at the end of every article, you're missing out on about 10 to 20% of your revenue a year, okay? All right, wait, what? Make sure your website has ads on it? Yeah. So I know a lot of people don't think about stuff like this. They think that like becoming a $100 million business is about the big promo. Man, how do I get Mike Palmer or Jed Caney to come write me a promo? They ain't. So you're gonna have to make do. And plus, the guys that they work for, your web ads are worth 10% of your rev. I know you think like, oh shit, ads on the website. Huh, I haven't done that yet. Put them on the website. Your most engaged people come to the website, they read. I know it seems rudimentary and elementary. I guarantee you if I ask 10 of you to put your website up there, ain't gonna be ads on it. And then you're gonna be like, oh, well, should be worth 10% of your rev. Easy, it's easy money, it's just sitting there. Your most engaged people are the ones on your website. Fulfillment that expanded marketing. Oh man, this is not, see, this is a typo, cool. So marketing well. I'll go through that quick. Marketing well is essentially you write down all your products and whether or not you have a promotion that is active for those products. If you have 15 products, you don't have an active promotion for those products that you can't actively sell, you need to get on it. And there are ways that you can do it without trying to write a big package. Oh, man, I need a promo for this. Yeah, well, get in line with everybody else in the world waiting for a promo and hiring a C-level copywriter to come in and give you a piece of dog shit you got to pay $10,000 for a kill fee. Okay? There are other ways to sell things. E-letters can sell. E-letters can sell just by content in and of themselves and sending them to an order form. Seen it happen. Okay? Order forms sometimes outpace promo just because people are ready to buy. I hate that stigma, like that sort of dogma that, like, because how many people here have junior marketers or are new to the industry yourself and say dumb things like, you know, why don't we just like send them to the order form? Like they're probably ready to buy. Oddly enough, if you write the order form well and it encapsulates it's a little longer, you probably will sell to the order form. It's better than not trying to sell at all. It's better than running to a promo from 2016 that talks about President Obama and some other shit that's just old. I'd rather run it to an order form. So a marketing well is basically taking all your products and subsequently talking about all the conversion points you have for those products. Order forms, evergreens. Everybody knows what those are. I can kind of skip over that a little bit. I'm not really here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about if you build an e-letter matrix that's wide, you need to fill it with stuff. You need to sell in it. And you can't just sell one thing every day. So if you have multiple products, you have to be able to say, how am I going to sell this product 15 different ways? Because selling it one way is short-sighted. You got to sell it multiple ways. How many people have a telesales team or CS team? Nobody? Get one telesales guy if you don't have one. Telesales is a viable way to cut through the bullshit. Like literally sending out an email that says, you know what, if you've been interested in buying, you have any questions, call my telesales team. They'll walk you through it. It's not going to do nearly as well as a good promo, but it will sell. You have to eat, right? The other thing that you want to think about when you're putting together a marketing matrix or an e-letter matrix, every day, if you don't come into this business and say, I got to make X amount of money today, you are probably in the wrong business. There are no weeks off. There are no days off. You're not getting it back. If you didn't try to sell on Tuesday, you ain't getting it back on Wednesday. Doesn't work that way. Every day you have to come in and be like, I'm going to make $30,000 today. How am I going to do it? What inventory do I have? What products do I have? And how do I maximize that as fast as possible? If you are taking days off, you are really gambling. And there are, I won't name them, but there are companies that have risked their entire company based on the premise of, oh, we're going to take 3 weeks and build a big mega webinar list of 130,000 people, and it's going to be awesome, and then watch that promo shit the bed. How are you going to get those 3 weeks back? That's a hell of a risk. I would rather sell and do the same thing at the same time. All right. How many e-letters do you have? How many things can you say? Like I said, rule of thumb, if you have a product, you should have an e-letter. Product, e-letter, at least. Very simple. One editor, so if you're looking for bandwidth on how much your editor can handle, one editor can probably handle 2 e-letters at 3 times a week. One editor can probably handle 1 e-letter at 7 times a week. I've seen as many as 4 or 5, but if you're looking for bandwidth on how to scale, it's probably a ratio of 1 to 2. For what you're looking for an e-letter editor, you're looking for anybody, like I would rather take somebody that is grammatically proficient, that understands stock trading. But I'll take the latter more than I'll take the former. Mostly because in an e-letter, you can use ellipses in e-letter. You talk in short sentences. Nobody needs big, giant paragraphs. If you're looking for, what's the thing called in Word where you like rate your text? Was it? FK score. If that is above 5th grade, it is way too smart for our people. Right? It needs to read at a 5th grade level. I'm not joking. Like that's why you don't, how many people see big, giant paragraphs in e-letters? Never. It's 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 1 sentence, and ellipse. Like it has to be entertaining. It's a letter. It is not your term paper that you're turning in to get a goddamn grade. You're talking to somebody. Talk to them like you normally talk to them. Yep.
There's a great app for that. It's called the Hemingway app.
Cool.
Have you used it? It's free.
Make a hub, right? So have a centralized e-letter that houses all the information from all the other e-letters. Agora Financial does this. Money Morning does this. Raging Bull does this. John Carter does this. Have one e-letter that takes all the content from the other e-letters and puts it in one place, okay? If you're looking for how to structure it, have a hub. Have a centralized hub that syndicates everything from the outside. And have that hub be your master list. That's sort of your Eye of Sauron. That should be your biggest list. It will get shitty response. That's okay. It's not there to make money. It's there to feed the other lists. and be an annuity for you, okay? It's also easy to create. If you have 5 e-letters all creating content during the week, I don't really need to make content for this other one because I just take it from these and put it in there and give them exposure. Oh, sweet, we're at the end. Side notes and other things people should hear. Don't listen to yourself. You're stupid. You are. I've talked with a lot of you. You're bad marketers. You're bad. You know, I don't buy financial newsletters, but I at least let the numbers talk for them. I at least run tests and let numbers talk for it. Your subjective interpretation of this industry is butt ugly wrong, 95% of the time. You know, our people really don't like being sold. Fuck them. You know who likes being sold? The people that bought. That's who you listen to. Like, don't listen to the other 95% of people. If you do that, you will make a camel, which is a horse that is useless anywhere but the desert, right? You are essentially making a camel of a newsletter. Don't listen to the people that give you the feedback that's negative, all right? I mean, you don't want to ignore it totally, but don't assume that people don't want to be sold. You know what happens when people buy something? A little piece of serotonin drops down from your frontal lobe and it makes you real fucking happy. The definition of marketing is to make people happy. Sales are a direct correlation to that. Somebody buys something, you just made someone happy. You don't buy shit and go, that sucked. I mean, unless it's insurance or you wreck your car or some shit like that. But when's the last time you walked in the supermarket and went, man, I fucking hate gummy bears. I gotta have them. No. Like, you love buying gummy bears. You love buying this financial product. You're excited. We are in the hobby borderline industry. This is an industry of excitement, right? People that buy stuff are excited to get started. You are a bad marketer at the end of the day unless you have the empirical data in numbers, right? There's a lot of people in this industry that what is the acronym for, like, my boss's opinion is the only one that matters? That's a shitty place to be. There's an acronym for that. It's like head man and I don't fucking know. It's like, but if somebody walks in and be like, you know what? I really don't think that our people are going to like our products. Obviously, let your boss talk and then run the numbers. Like, follow his idea, run the numbers on this, show them how things match up, but owning the reporting is important. Don't listen to your customers. So don't listen to yourself. Don't listen to your customers. Because happy people don't write in and they don't call because they're too busy being fucking happy. Okay? What's the opposite of love? It is not hate. It is indifference. Hate is just love misdirected. Somebody writes in to tell you how much they hate you. They're not telling you how much they hate you. They're telling you how disappointed they are in you. It's just an opportunity. Like, if you fell out of love with somebody, like, if you're getting into a fight with your partner, that is just them saying, I love you so much that I really just want to fix this. However, if you can't get into a fight with your partner, they're just like, I don't care. That's the opposite of love, is I don't care. Be worried when they don't care. If they hate you, most people do not tell you, and if you read all those books that I know you guys like, most people don't tell you what they're really mad about. Most people can't afford to buy your product, so they hate you because you don't give it to them for free. Or you don't offer them, can I get a quarterly subscription for this? No, motherfucker, like, no. Like, this is $2,000, man. This is buy it or walk. I suggest you go get a new Discover card. How come you guys don't give out any free picks? Because I don't, right? Don't listen to those people. They're angry for some other reason other than what they're telling you, okay? Don't be generic. Don't be a journalist. Have a point of view. Everything has a point of view. Do not be a journalist. Do not give me a recap. Have a point of view and be firm on it and be loud, okay? You need to be able to say the stock market is totally wrong, we are overvalued, and here's why, and these 3 stocks are going way down. Nobody's going to remember that in 3 days. They're not. They really don't. But they remember it. Right now, they're like, yeah, that's my guy, right? Think about back to your gambling world, right? If I get a guy that does horse racing, he's like, you know, I like the 3, the 4, the 6, the 8, the 9's a good horse, 10's not bad too. What? No, it's one horse. It's one horse and it's conviction around that horse. You start talking to me about, you know, the Dow's pretty good and, you know, it's kind of bad. Don't be wishy-washy. Have a point of view. Have something important to say. And like I said, saying something wrong is more valuable than saying something I already know. I'd rather you be wrong than tell me shit I already know. I'd rather you be totally wrong. It's way more interesting to be totally wrong than it is for me to be like, the stock market's, you know, it's kind of okay. I don't know. Bye. Don't care about that. Realize that nobody cares how good you are. They care about you, right? They don't care about your stock picks, really, right? Again, you talking about how, oh, I'm 15 from my last 15. Oh, I have a really great, they don't care. They want to know what you're going to do for them tomorrow. Not what you've done in the past, tomorrow. You have to have a point of view going forward. Weak copy, weak marketing talks about testimonials and track record. It works. It's just watered down. It has no point of view for looking forward. How many people here would love to buy somebody that has a great track record? You know, I'm 17 for my last 17. Well, great. What's the first thing most people think about? You make that correlation to, I mean, eventually it's got to miss. But you already have negative thoughts. If I have a marketing point of view where I say, you know what I've done in the past, I am 17 for 17. You can use it. I am 17 for 17, but nothing compares to what I see going forward. I might be 17 for 17 with 17, 14% trades on average. Tomorrow, we have this industry, it's popping up. I saw this new indicator. All these things are happening. Everything's lining up. The stars are lining up for us. That's way more valuable than saying, I'm really good. That's not valuable, right? Price breaks, again, the worse the promo, usually the more you should charge for it. If you think that charging $2,000 for something that doesn't sell is going to then start working at $1,000, you are wrong. Nobody gives a shit how much something costs. This is a complete, like, seriously, how many people here have ever been in a meeting where you go, what should we charge for this? Because you don't know. You just look around the industry and be like, oh, it looks like $1,500 to $2,000 looks about right. You don't know how much it costs, but I can tell you this, if something doesn't work, dropping the price doesn't yield more revenue. Might yield a few more sales, but if you actually do the math, people weren't interested in the idea in the first place. I don't know about that third bullet point. I kind of like talking about how many picks you get. I feel like people like to set their watch to it. A few services have had breakthroughs by being able to set your watch. It's a new trend. Basically saying, I'm in on Monday, I'm out on Friday. People like that. It gives them it gives them balance. Be in the box, but be fearless. So we are 3 years into no breakout. Anybody? So when I talk about a breakout, I'm talking about a change in format, a change in how you deliver your promo. Anybody know what the last format breakout, what it was? No? No, video was 7 years ago. Webinars, right? So webinar was 3 years ago. Build a hot list, launch a webinar, do a mega launch. You're 3 years into that. How many people here are seeing diminished returns on that idea? Yeah. How many people here are openly looking for what the next idea will be? Because it'll come, and we are very in-the-box industry. So keep your eyes out. Be in the box, but be fearless about it. Don't be afraid to do something extraordinary or step out of the box. Because we are 3 years into no major breakout in format or how we deliver our messaging. Unless somebody here has done something with holograms that I'm not aware of, or pigeon carriers, or something cool. If you have, please share it, because I'm looking for it. Sit down and write a sales letter, not a package. Who here wants to hire a copywriter to write a package? Come on, man. You all have said that. Every single one of you has said, I can't wait till Steve gives me that package. Steve's not going to give you a good package. Steve's package is going to suck. Sit down and write a sales letter. Some of the best copywriters in the world, one sitting there, they write sales letters. All he wants to do is try to sell you. Like that whole model of a 27-page package that follows all the rhyme and reason, that shit is dying. But at the end of it, the guys that do that really well, all they're trying to do is write a great sales letter. They don't really care about writing a package. Bad copywriters write packages. Good copywriters write sales letters. They write something that makes the hair on your arm stand up. They propose something. If you are an editor or you're trying to do e-letters, always think to yourself, after I read this, would I want to buy something? If the answer to that is no, that's a bad e-letter. Okay? Write a sales letter. Don't try to write a package. A guru plus a copywriter usually equals magic, meaning if you got a copywriter and a guru, put them in a room together and let them work. If a copywriter just comes to you off the street and gets like 1 day with the guru, that's probably not going to be a good one because they're not going to mesh, right? A good copywriter tries to extrapolate out from the guru exactly what he needs in order to write a great sales letter. I think that's it. I try to put some stuff there at the end. I know you guys are troopers. So many yawns, so many sleepy faces. I know it's hot in here. I tried not to be boring. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
You mentioned something about building a hub. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So there should be one centralized e-letter. Whether it's the name of your company, Money Morning does this, Raging Bull does this. The hub takes so if you have 7 e-letters and they're all publishing twice a week or 3 times a week, don't let it just live there. Put it on a hub. Put it in the middle, right? And every name that comes in, like if you're doing name acquisition, put them on the hub first and let the hub do its work, which is essentially sprinkling names to everybody else. It gives all the other lists exposure. If you just have one list without the hubs, you're really limiting your marketing bandwidth. Have a hub in the middle and be able to syndicate all content around you. Syndicate your friends' content. There are people in this room that would love for you to syndicate their content, and vice versa. It just opens up a lot more options.
Sorry, how are you deciding on the content syndication? Is that just like a autoresponder, or is it based upon the actions that they take?
What was the first part?
How are you deciding on the content syndication? So you've got multiple products, you've got the hub.
Yeah.
Are they kind of being dripped everything, or is it based upon the actions they take?
Everything that gets printed, everything that gets mailed, even if it's a paid e-letter, should be put on the hub. Everything that gets created. Paid e-letters, even though they're behind paywalls, if you have a decent editor, should be able to take it, reposition it, and put it on the hub. Be like, hey, I don't know if you saw this, and you can use blackouts, you can use all kinds of cool shit. But if it's created and being sent to paid people, people that haven't bought should still see kind of what's exciting behind that paywall from time to time. As a matter of fact, an oopsie letter is like one of the best things oops, I didn't mean to send out this paid alert to everybody. Ooh. And people go, oh my God, what is this? I got paid shit. Like they get excited. They get excited and they love you for it and they'll buy. Whoops. Anybody else? Yeah, man.
So if you're launching a new product with an e-letter, is an e-letter one email, or how many emails do you think it should consist of?
What do you mean?
So if you have a new product and
Yeah.
you want to launch an e-letter,
Yeah.
is an e-letter just one email, or how many emails would it consist of?
If you have a product, you usually have a name brand e-letter that should go out anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, somewhere in that
It's not
vicinity.
like a sequence of emails. It's just like the e-letter for a new product would be like one email, and you just send out the same copy every time.
Oh no, e-letter is you addressing the market, addressing what you do on a daily basis, talking every single day to somebody, right? Does that make sense? Is that what you're after?
Let's say, I'm just asking if you have a new product,
Yeah.
you want to launch an e-letter for that product.
Correct.
How many different copy emails should it be?
You're talking about a funnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about the funnel. I think funnels are trash. Like funnels don't encapsulate anything that's actually happening in the market. I'd much rather hear, because it's Wednesday, September, it's Tuesday? I don't fucking know. It's September 10th today, like as opposed to, hi, like the funnel reads dry. Funnels always read dry. They work to an extent, but it's not an e-letter. A funnel is essentially a conversion piece or something, but your e-letter is how you talk to somebody every day. For instance, the Dow goes down 2% today and you send out an email saying, well, it's a really exciting time to be in the market. Like how dotty does that look? How out of touch do you look by having a funnel that's not addressing what's actually going on and your point of view to it? Whereas if you have an e-letter, you can say, listen, man, yesterday, these were the top 3 movers in the stock market. Here's my opinion on them. Like an e-letter is not a funnel. Some people do an e-letter as a funnel. They do like a 55 or 60 day funnel. And they pay copywriters to, and I'm like, man, that's crazy to me, because I don't think that's an annuity. I think once it actually goes away and dries up, then what are you left with? Maybe you did hit your 100% ROI after 60 days, but you have got to create that relationship. E-letters are valuable because it gives you a tether to somebody for life. That's what I've seen work. It's the relationship that you have with people.
In your opinion, e-letters on all copy versus video, or copy and video, what do you recommend?
If you want to do video, that's great. You want to do podcasts, that's great. You want to do written word, that's great. As long as it answers the why me, and why now, the medium itself doesn't really matter. You'll get better consumption on video. For the most part, people will watch video longer, but I think those numbers are skewed because people just play it and then leave the tab, go do whatever else they have. Yeah.
You mentioned some interesting points about funnels there. Have you ever considered having a hybrid approach where you have a newsletter that sets up, but part of the email that goes out has a bit of code, so you have your standardized funnel as part of it that's inserted into it?
I hate funnels because I think they're lazier than having to write every day. I don't think that they're something you throw out. You should use them. Just don't depend on them solely. I think there's just more value in having a daily relationship with somebody through an e-letter as opposed through a funnel. And if you do run a funnel, make sure you know what it's worth. Pull those KPIs. Pull the open rates, click-through rates, how much money it's worth. You can be running a 15-day funnel, and you're like, I have no idea where people buy in this thing. I have no idea how many people open it, how many people click on it. You just put the funnel in and go, we got a funnel. It kind of works. Anybody else? Yeah, man.
Yeah, so you said something earlier, really interested in taking large blocks of emails, moving them to different lists.
Yeah.
So I guess I just, maybe not now, but maybe a little bit later, I'll probably dig a little bit deeper because we tried that and we got our asses handed to us on a plate by
Sure.
Active Campaign. Who I hate with a passion, by the way.
Sure.
So you just can't do that, or at least for us, you can't do that without knowing a few tricks. So
Yeah.
if you want to share any low level, maybe I'm the only guy in the room interested in doing the low level stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not just, we found you just couldn't take 20,000 emails, shove them from vertical response to Active Campaign because you get your ass handed to you.
Sure. You get your ass handed to you. That's why you gotta know your ESP. Did you call like whoever it was? Like there's 50 different ESPs out there. All of them have different rules. All of them have different relationships. Instead of trying to move 20,000 names right away, try to move like, what did they say? Like they say like you can't do that. Like even MailChimp will let you upload 15,000 names if you just write them a nice email saying, these are people that I really like. Please, like they'll upload them. But if you don't have a relationship with your ESP and you're not, so if you move 20,000 names over that are disengaged or just try to mirror a list, you're probably gonna get burned. If you move 1,000 people that have clicked in the last 7 days as your like start, probably gonna get a better reception unless they have a policy where you can't sweep names on. Then you need to find a new ESP. I guarantee you there are people in this room, there are people that have ESPs that allow them to do that. So, man, you are a wizard. That's why specifically I can't tell you which ESP to necessarily use. I can tell you that Infusionsoft as an ESP and a CRM usually solves a lot of those problems. If you don't use that, I get it, but there is a workaround. You just gotta work to it. And if you find that you have an ESP that is being a pain in the ass, fuck them. There's 50 other ones that want your business. Just so long as when you send mail, you're not showing a 2% open and a 1% click. If you do that, then obviously if I'm an ESP, I'm be like, oh, these guys suck. But your spam complaints and things like that should be extremely minimal after you send that first email. You'll see. Just try to send it to engage people. If I had to give you some advice, when you first start moving names around with your ESP, just take people that have clicked in the last 7 days, 14 days, start there. Don't try to move huge blocks at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what time it is. Sorry if that went long. Oh, you good, John? Wrap it up. Everybody, get out there. Thank you.